今から約140年前、黒船来航から始まった幕末の動乱の渦中であった京都に、人斬り抜刀斎と呼ばれる志士がいた。修羅さながらに人を切り、その決闘をもって新時代明治を切り開いたその男は、動乱の終結によって人々の前から姿を消し去り、時の流れとともに最強という名の伝説と化していった。そしてロマンタンの始まりは明治11年東京下町から。人斬り抜刀斎、とうとう見つけたわ。2ヶ月に及ぶ辻斬り強行も今夜でおしまいよ。
あら、
覚悟なさい。あら、なんなのこれ。これがあの人斬り抜刀斎？
流浪に。拙者は流浪に。当てのない旅の剣客でござるよ。今さっきこの町に着いたばかりなのに、辻斬りと言われても何のことやら。
じゃあ腰の刀はどう説明する気？剣客だからって対等は許されないわよ。何これ、歯が逆についてる。酒場刀？
この刀ですんなり人を切れるでござるか？
できないわね。第一、この酒場刃こぼれ一つ、血の匂いも油の曇りも全くない。一度も使ってない新品同様だわ。あなた本当にただの。
そう、流浪に。
でもなんでわざわざこんな使えない刀を。
はあ、危ないでござるやん。
でも切れないんでしょ？
でござるが。
今度こそ。
ほら。どうやら拙者の知らないところでことが生じているようでござるな。
悪一文字を背負った佐之助が町での出会いをきっかけに謙信に勝負を挑んできたのでした。
Alright, Mr. Nygren here. Welcome to Rurouni Kenshin. I don't remember the full name, it's a Japanese title. It's a fighting game from 1996, released in November, I believe on 5th November 1996, could be wrong. I'm using the ePSXe emulator for the computer and playing this game, so the graphics are the best they could be. 1920 1080p HD resolution. The models were full in 3D, including the backgrounds, so the game looks really good. And played on the emulator. Would look good on a PlayStation 2, but not with as clear picture. Picture is much better here due to the emulator, and 3D models benefit greatly from using an emulator, unlike 2D models. So this is a traditional fighting game, like Tekken, but set in Rurouni Kenshin. I believe Tekken 3 released in 1998. I don't know when the first two Tekken released. This is from 96. Alright, so we control the Kenshin. We are in the story mode. First enemy we face is Sanosuke, or Sano. So I did actually play this game in the past on my PlayStation Portable. I had the e-bot version for the PlayStation Portable. Unfortunately I couldn't play it multiplayer because it's a PlayStation 1 game. And if you have a PlayStation 1 game on a PSP or PlayStation Portable, then you can't play it in multiplayer because multiplayer games on the PSP require you to have two PSPs. And this game has a multiplayer mode where you need to use the same screen and of course that's not possible because there is only one screen and buttons for one player on one PlayStation Portable. So I could only play single player in this game when I played on the PSP. But yeah, I remember having all the characters. Don't remember if I cheated to get them or not. It's a real fighting game. You have a lot of moves and such. It's not the easiest game. And I'm very bad at it right now. I haven't played it in years. I believe I had it around like 2009 something on the PlayStation Portable. I believe I had a PSP that I actively used between like 2007, December 2006 probably was when I got it, and then then I played with the PSP mostly between December 2006 and I believe maybe 2011, 2012, around there. The game stopped coming in 2013. So I believe I used it in 2013 too, but after 2013 I hardly used it. Of course, the reason I'm using the emulator is because graphics are better here. So I can crouch and roll. So Kenshin doesn't use his sword to kill people. He has a reversed blade sword that is intended to just knock them out unconscious. So that's why he doesn't really draw his sword. He's a very skilled sword fighter. So he is very fast when he draws his sword. He doesn't need to have it visible. Sanosuke is a clumsy street fighter kind of guy. Brawler with a huge sword. But for most of the anime he doesn't use his sword. He fights with his fists and kicks people. We lost again. Let's try again. Might need to change the difficulty setting. It might be too difficult. So on L1 we roll away, and on R1 we roll towards the enemy. Okay, on circle we draw the sword, and I also attack on X. We did more of a combo on X. We block on square, and we do nothing on triangle as far as I can see. Can use the directional buttons to move, and can use the analog stick to jump to. So the graphics I think are really good for a PlayStation 1 title. I believe this game wasn't set that late into the show's seasons. I believe it has only the first season characters. I believe Saito is in it, but I don't think it has Shishio and some of the others. And you unlock them by defeating the story mode, I believe, as different characters. Ah, we won finally. Oh. So I really liked Rurouni Kenshin, the anime. I watched the first 2 seasons. The 3rd season isn't worth watching. It's a filler season that sucked. So the first 2 seasons of Rurouni Kenshin are highly recommended. They are really good. Set in Meiji Japan in the 19th century. when samurais are outlawed and when Japan is changing from a feudal society to the empire. And the main character is an ex-assassin who wants to, just settle down and live peacefully, and wants to leave his past behind him. There he was this killer, the Batosai, but of course there are villains in the show that wants to bring back the old times, and he has to save the day. There are a lot of cool samurai fights and such. It's a good show. The third season sucked, but that's because the show catched up to the manga artist, and instead of waiting a year or so, they decided to make a filler season. But it was so badly received that people lost interest in the show when the final season they're about to air, the fourth season. So it never aired. I believe there were a trailer for it, but at the end of the day, the third season killed the show. But the manga still continued, and I believe in 2010 I read most of the final manga chapters on a site that no longer exists, that had like a million different manga series. So I read the final stuff there, but I didn't finish it. I almost finished it, and it had a really good final chapter with a villain named Enishi. He is also the villain in the new live-action movies that are very loyal to the source material, but streamline it for 3 movies instead of having an entire anime season. So of course certain things are cut and such. Okay, but it was really, they were really great, the live-action movies. So anyway, the manga series I highly recommend reading. I would most likely recommend watching the first 2 seasons of the anime and then jump straight to the manga and read from where the second season ended and until the end of the manga. And then I recommend watching all the live-action movies because they are awesome. Especially the second live-action movie of the first 3. They were released in 2012 and 2013, I believe. And then the 3 new ones that released last year in 2021. Out of them, I believe all 3 were great. But I highly recommend the prequel. I believe there were 2 released last year and 3 released in 2012 and 2013. And I highly recommend all of them. They are great. But out of the 3 first movies, the second one were the best one. And out of the 2 new ones, I believe that both of them were awesome. One were the continuation story that continued where the third movie left off, with the final chapters of the manga that were never aired as an anime. So if you want the ending of the show, you get that in the live-action movie. And then the other movie released last year were the prequel story of Batosai, that we are actually also made into an anime, but by a different company that didn't have the full rights to the Kenshin name, so they named it Samurai X instead, even though it's the same character. Okay. And that prequel story is very bloody and people die and such. It was really good. Yeah. So this story mode is really impressive. It has scenes from the anime playing after you win battles. That's uncommon. Usually they have portraits, speaking portraits, or in-game models. So November 1996, this game. Back then they added cinematics to the PlayStation title. The only console with cinematics.
だが本当に幸せを必要とする人々は未だ弱者が虐げられる古い時代の中にいる。だから拙者は及ばずながらそういう人たちの力となるべくこの酒場を振るっている。そうすることが 明治維新の犠牲となった人々へ償いにもなると思っているでござるよ。
俺は絶望し諦めちまって喧嘩に興じることで忘れようとばかりしていたっていうのに。すんません、相良隊長。
So the other consoles at the time, in 1996, the Super Nintendo and the Sega, they didn't have cinematics. So the PlayStation was a different level of console. Computers at the time did have cinematics too, of course.
俺の売りは打たれ強さだぜ。こんなかすり傷へでもねえ。でもお前が口先だけのイカサマ維新志士とどう違うか、この先お前につきまとってこの目で見極めてやるぜ。つわけだからよ、俺の許しなしで勝手に流浪に出るんじゃねえぞ、剣心。
Right, we fight this guy now. I don't remember his name, but the main character is named Rurouni Kenshin, and the show is called Rurouni Kenshin, and he was once known as the Batosai, the killer. That enemy is someone from the past who wants to stir up chaos, but I don't remember his name here. Wonderful models, and it's a good fight that just requires you to learn the moves to become good at it. It's not an easy fighter. The game has good music too from the show. Fuck you. Okay, so we'll try to defeat him, but he might win. You can kick and punch, I believe, too. There's a weird control system, so you will need to get used to the buttons. Could be a bit difficult otherwise. Yeah, it looked great. Yeah, this is easily one of the better anime series, but I do not recommend the third season. Just skip it entirely. I did that. I skipped it. I never watched the third season of the anime. Second season is awesome too. Oh, we won. Nice.
お前の本性は人斬りだよ。同じ人斬りが言うんだ。間違いはない。人斬りは所詮死ぬまで人斬り。他の者には決してなれはしない。いつまで流浪になどと言っていられる。
And it's kind of bloody too.
地で見ててやるよ。
It's awesome fights, samurai fights, sword fights and such. Yeah, I believe this is based on the first season. Fight the I believe his name, Shinomura Aoshi, and his ninja gang, and that other guy, an enemy that they fought prior to fighting Shinomura Aoshi and his gang. So I believe Shizue and his crew is not, they are not a part of this this game. Yeah, the controls are not the best. They're pretty difficult to get used to. We lost.
2本目始め
Fasto. I wanted to try out some of the PlayStation games and play them on my YouTube channel. Most of them will be set in anime series, different anime universes. I mean, fighting games will be set in different anime series most of the time. There are some exceptions, of course. And there are some strategy games and some role-playing games that are different, of course. But the fighting games are mostly anime-based. And Rurouni Kenshin being one of my favorite animes, I had to play this game. Okay.
1本目始め
I believe I watched it in 2002, 2003 or 2004, like most other anime shows that I watched. I continued to watch One Piece and Naruto all the way up until 2014. Then Naruto finished and I stopped watching One Piece. I also watched Bleach at least one season. I watched all the way up until the battle between Aizen and the main character. Then I think I lost interest. And I believe I watched that show in 2007 and 2008. Mostly. It was a great show, but unlike the others, I didn't finish it. I believe the anime was also cancelled in Japan because it lost out in popularity in Japan. But the manga continued, and I never read the manga. When it comes to Naruto and One Piece, I actually did read the manga a fair bit until I ended up only watching the anime. I haven't read the manga of Fullmetal Alchemist. I did read a bunch of episodes from the Kenshin manga, as I said, because I wanted to get the proper ending that never were made into an anime. I didn't finish it, but it's a really good final arc. Very sad arc. Very climactic, and everyone gets to fight at least one opponent as usual. And Kenshin has a very emotional final arc. Okay, this Fatto was difficult to defeat. Fuck you. He picked me up and did a grabbing move. Try again. Fattos are usually more difficult to defeat in games like this. This would probably be a fun fighter against a friend, especially if both of you are good at the controls. But if you are not good at the controls and are both newbies, then it might be a bit difficult to get the hang of the controls. They are pretty difficult. Feel different from other fighters. Maybe they are similar to other fighters at the time, other PlayStation 1 fighters, but they are more complicated than modern fighting games, in my opinion. But I would say that it's really impressive with the graphics for 1996, and it shows that the PlayStation was on a different level than the Super Nintendo and the Sega at the time. And the music is nice, and the cinematics from the anime are cool too. The game was only released in Japan, so people had to import it or download it to get it if they were not from Japan. So it sucks that it has only Japanese language and only Japanese text, but that's because it was a Japanese only title. Japan only title. Okay. Yeah, I would probably be willing to play this multiplayer against someone once or twice. As for single player, it's a bit difficult. I might need to lower the difficulty. Sometimes I do that combo move. Yes, we did it! Finally cut through all that fat.
そんな大道芸では拙者の髪一本燃やせぬでござるよ。
Okay, this guy, he's like the leader of the ninjas, but he's not the leader of the group. He's the guy second to Shinomori Aoshi, one of the coolest guys there. Aoshi Shinomori, I believe his first name is Shinomori. They say it Aoshi Shinomori, I believe. Maybe they say it Shinomori Aoshi. I don't remember. It's been a while since I watched the show. I believe that the Japanese say the names in the opposite order as in the East. So they say the surname first and the first name last. Okay, so we are probably at the end now. We need to defeat this guy. And then I believe we face Shinomori Aoshi, their leader. And after that maybe we'll fight Saito Hajime. And after him I believe we're done. Yeah, I'm spamming. We might lose. Yeah, we lost. Good. Good. Fucking bastard. Fucking bastard, he got the combo. He will win again. Fucking bastard. This is the annoying part with all the fighting games, that you can lead most of the fight and then you do a mistake at the end of the battle and all of a sudden you lose. You have to restart. So yeah, fighting games back in the 90s could be really frustrating. Because they were difficult and frustrating when you lost. Some more than others. Thinking about that Star Wars fighting game. Had really annoying stages where you fell out all the time. At least in this game you don't have a stage where you can fall out of the ring. So in that sense this is way better. It's not fun when they push you over the cliff, you know, and you or the edge and then you fall down and lose. Okay. Yeah, we have lost this too. He's named Hanya. Okay. Let's try again. Alright. So, went really poorly the last few fights here against Hania. Come on now, Kenshin! So I pressed more than one button there, then he did more moves, but I still lost fucking shit. Okay, we will try again. So in this game we should press more than one button, while at the same time pressing the directional button, then it will combo moves. Fuck that. Don't face the wrong way. I will lose again. That guy is pretty difficult. Again. I don't even know what difficult I am playing on. Maybe they are harder than easy. I think so. Hard to know when it's in Japanese, the text. Grabs me and tackles me and knees me in the stomach. Getting tired in my fingers now. He's slow at getting back on his feet when he falls down too. I'm too tired in my finger to continue using that directional button. I'm trying to use the analog stick instead. Didn't go well. Try again. Can jump using the analog stick. I don't know we can do much else. We can't really walk with it. Instead we are jumping around. That sucks. The game was released back when the PlayStation 1 controllers didn't have analog sticks. So you use the directional buttons, which is really tiring on the fingers. Oh, we did a move there. We lost again, most likely now. Oh, we won! Finally! My thumb really... Fuck, we need to win again. We have 2 rounds, we need to win. So yeah, I highly recommend this anime and manga and the live action movies too. There are 5 at least, and then the Samurai X miniseries I recommend it too. As for this game, I think it has great graphics and such, but it's difficult. I can't say I think it's fun. More like frustrating to play. Could be fun against a friend or against the enemy or AI if it's on an easy difficulty maybe. But it's too difficult right now, so it's more frustrating than fun to play. A lot of the old titles had frustrating controls. Oh, when we have a pass on, the camera moves in a circle so we can see them from behind and from the front. You get a better view on the models. That's cool. You can see them from this angle. When you pause the game, the camera starts to circle around the characters and you get to see their faces and such. So that's really cool. Yeah, it's a gorgeous game for 1996 in November, based on the original anime show Rurouni Kenshin. It's more bloody and more adult than any of the other shows I've mentioned, Dragon Ball Z, you know, and Fullmetal Alchemist, One Piece, Naruto. This show is more bloody and adult, more history based. Still a great show. Okay, so I wanted to exit. Good. We're back in the menu. We have VS.com, we have VS Player, we have Story Mode. We had picked Story Mode. Go to Options. And I don't know what this is, or this. I don't. This is time. The unlimited time on. Don't know what these symbols mean. I believe the difficulty should be at the top. I just don't know what difficulty we have now. Let's go to VS mode. We have Kenshin playable, we have Sanosuke playable, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy, and Shinomura Aoshi. So we have all of these playable. And I believe that Saito Hajime is a secret character. I don't know if there are any other secret characters. I believe that the girl, Kashia, whatever, might also be a secret character. Okay, let's try out Aoshi Shinomura Aoshi. I believe Aoshi is his first name, so they say probably Shinomura Aoshi in Japanese. He's one of my favorite characters. I also like Saito Hajime. He's like Vegeta of Rurouni Kenshin. Can block. The models are not bad. They looked actually really good, especially for when they were released. I have won against Sanosuke, but Shinomura Aoshi is supposed to have two blades, not just one. So that's a miss. Here he only has one of his two blades. Yeah, this game certainly would have won graphically in '96. I think it's one of the better looking fighters of the time. Of course he can roll away and roll against the enemy too. So the Kenshin anime, it is more focused on adults. They are not teenagers most of the time. There is like one kid character that is a main character, and then there is a female character that is like an older teenager probably. But most of the characters in the show are adults, young adults. Some of them are even older. So yeah, it's a little bit more mature than most of the other shows that I watched. Still intended for teenagers, of course. Okay. but it has an historical purpose. It's set in a historical period in Japan. So you learn a bit of Japanese history by watching the show too. It's not a fictional universe, it's Japan in the 19th century. But there are some fictional moves and attacks and such. Some of them are really overpowered for swordsmen. So they still have weird attacks and such that can take out many enemies. For example, Kenshin can take out 100 goons on its own, so it's not realistic. Alright, spam the same attack all the time. Let's try again and see if we can do something else. He can punch, he can use his sword, he can use his feet to kick, he can block. But yeah, it's difficult to do the moves. Controls are not the best. For the most part, he uses his punch, his hands instead of his sword, which sucks. So I believe I never played this game back in the day because it wasn't available in my country of Sweden. I did play it like in 29, as I said, or 28 or 27, because my PlayStation Portable could play PlayStation 1 titles. So I played it on my PlayStation Portable. But yeah, I thought it already back then that the game was difficult to play. The moves were very difficult to pull off. Yeah, not the best controls or moves. Maybe they have good moves in the game, but unless you know how to pull them off, it's difficult. We lost that one. Try again. Against Hania. There are some others you can fight too. You can play as Asuka Sano. He's a cool character. He doesn't have his sword here. I believe there are two versions of him. You can play with his sword too. I just don't remember how to do that. But for the most of the show he is fighting like this without his sword. He only used his sword in the first fight against Kenshin, I believe. He was easier to use because he's using only his fists and the kicks. Still lost, of course. All right. Didn't go well. Try again. You can try this guy. So he cheated, he got in his... He kicked me immediately. I need to replay that. Too bad. I think he will win again. He won. Hanya. Try the fat man. I have no idea what his name is. He's a minor character. Okay, I failed to do anything good. Seem to only be able to do the basic hit attacks. So yeah, difficult controls to master. Is the bad thing about the game. I believe many of the fighters from the PlayStation 1 era were very difficult to master. Difficult controls. Weren't user friendly. I have no idea how to do that flame attack that he did as the AI. Alright. Oh, we took him out, finally. Another round, of course. It's not fun to play as this fat guy. At least not when you don't know the special moves. Oh, I give up that one. Let's try this guy now. Okay. Another guy fights with his fists. Martial artist. Nice, we lifted him up. Grabbed him, threw him. Kicked him in the face. Good. Shit, it's very even now. Fuck, he won. Just lucky. Yeah, I'm not very good at all their fighting games. They have far too complicated buttons and controls. Prefer the new ones that are easy to just start up and be good at in the beginning. Because they have easy buttons, you pull off great moves with just a few buttons. Here you probably need to press many buttons to do good moves. Unfortunately, they were overly complicated in the 90s. Alright. We won! Good. Oh, we are facing Rurouni Kenshin. Okay. Okay. Good, we won. Perfect. We need to win again, I think. Another round. Has some nice animations when you manage to pull off the moves. Looks great for its time. Graphics have aged well, I think, for a PlayStation 1 game. Yeah, it has some cool moves. Such. There's some new Rurouni Kenshin fighting games for the PlayStation Portable back in 2012, 2013, when the live-action movies released, and they are great too. They have models that look more animated. Okay, and that fighting game has more basic controls and basic moves. I think it's good that they made the controls easier to pull off. It's easier to do the moves and such. So that's a plus in that game, and they have a huge number of characters too. But unfortunately, the moves are not as cool when they pull them off. They didn't make the animations as epic, so this game actually looks better when they do their moves, while the other game is way more easier to play, so it's easier to pull off the best moves. I believe each character has at least one super move, but they do not look that impressive, as most of it is just a cutscene, and then there is hardly anything done by the models. In this game, as you saw, they actually move the models and have unique animations and such, so this one is more impressive graphically, in my opinion, but the other game is nicer to play. Okay. Select a start to exit. Okay, thank you for watching. So this title was by Sony Computer Entertainment in 1996 in November. Rurouni Kenshin. Okay. Right struck. And then there's a demo here. So there are like demos playing if you just leave it be, but it will probably be interrupted for a while. Just to preview the game, I think. Usually had that in the old games when they placed the PlayStation in a store and no one was playing, then the demos would start playing, and people that went by would see the game on a TV screen, and then they would try it out and such. So yeah, there are like demos playing like a watch mode if you leave it on, but it will automatically stop after a while. Okay, thank you for watching. This is Rurouni Kenshin for the PlayStation 1, and yeah, it's a cool fighting game. If you like Rurouni Kenshin, I highly recommend trying it out. It's difficult to master, but looks nice and sounds nice and has nice cinematics. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.